What is going on, guys? Matt Downs with Daily Grind Fantasy Sports, and in this video we're going to talk about CSGO, League of Legends, DOTA, all the esports here on Prizepicks, and how you can remain profitable in the long run as long as you're observing market data by directly comparing DFS data to DFS data. Now, this really is a cheat code. Like, I'm not kidding. You don't have to know a single thing about League of Legends, DOTA, CSGO, any of the esports. And I know this because I don't know a single thing, yet I play this strategy every single day, and I'm just going to show you some of the results. Now, while I throw up some results here on my right, I'm going to talk about why the esports industry in general is just so new and why it's so valuable to have market data at this point in time. So what you really have to do here to really observe and understand the esports market is decompartmentalize every single thing I'm going to talk about in this video. Because one thing to first start out by noting is that the esports market is newer compared to other markets, right? You talk about NFL, you talk about MLB, you talk about NBA. All these markets have so much data, and they've been around for, hundreds, almost over 100 years now. And when you look at the market data that we're comparing between sports books, all these sports books have been around for, over 10, 20, 30 years, depending on the sports book. And they've had time, they've had effort, they poured millions and millions of dollars to come up with models, projections, news updates, injury updates, all these things pouring into this market, on top of the way that sharp bettors really shape that market. Let's just use the most popular one, right? NBA. NBA is a daily thing. And every single day, we know that lines change, the market adjusts, 24/7, and it really is a 24/7 operating market. But in this video, we are talking about the esports market, and it's really night and day when you compare the length of time that these markets have been available. You talk about what we have on the screen here, League of Legends, we talk about CSGO, we talk about DOTA, all these esports, Call of Duty. You can think about it like in terms of the internet and how long has the internet been around, and then take it a step further. How long has online gaming been a thing? Really over the past 10 years, we've seen this push, and around the time of COVID, for more esports data. But just looking at the market, like some of these sports books don't even offer esports, right? And the reason for it is very simple. It's exactly what I just said. There's not enough data to set in stone to really guarantee that you're going to have an edge over the average sharp sports bettor. So you look at FanDuel here, just taking a look here at the very top. River from League of Legends. He has a projection on Prizepicks, but he does not have a projection on FanDuel, does not on DraftKings, Barstool, BetMGM, Caesars. You can go down the line to some of these other offshore books too. And none of these guys have projections. Why is that? The sports books, the lines makers, do not feel confident in setting their lines. Now, what's really cool about this is that we've seen, at least in recent history, a really big push here for esports. We look at Hot Streak here on the far right. We look at Prizepicks. We look at Underdog. Like, these guys are finally putting out projections for these esports. That's amazing. Like, that means more data is on the way. Another thing to consider is that these DFS apps would not set projections along with some of these lines. We know that Hot Streak is different from Prizepicks, from Underdog. They would not set these lines if they didn't have a profitable market here, right? So if they're not making money off their esports bettors, they're not going to offer the market. And you can think about this logically, right? If you have a business and it's not a profitable business, guess what? You're shutting down the business. Think about this in terms of the industry, right? FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, they've all grown in terms of their size because they offer these larger markets. And as you can see, just taking a look here, MLB, we have Prizepicks set to 2.5, and the entire sportsbook market is also set to 2.5, and they all seem to pretty much agree on the amount of juice, the exact price that they're offering for MLB. But you simply do not see this for esports. And I'm going to show you some examples. We take a look here at the very top. We just talked about this example, River. He is set to 2.5 on Prizepicks, but on Hot Streak with major juice on the under at 2.5. Meaning that if you were the place, and it looks like the odds are shifting even more in the favor of the under, they just shifted to 190. If you were to place this under on River, 2.5 on Hot Streak, your ROI percentage would be horrible. Minus 190, that's an incredibly juiced line. That's just a price tag. And again, if you guys don't know how to read American odds, feel free to head over to our YouTube channel, feel free to look it up online. But essentially all this is a price tag. On Prizepicks, you're getting this projection in a 5-man flex at minus 119 odds. In a 6 flex, minus 118 odds. Heck, you could even play this in a 3-pick power, which I never recommend. And you get minus 140 juice. Like, those lines are still significantly better than a minus 190 line on Hot Streak. Now, what I am not going to sit here and say is I'm not going to sit here and say that a 1-to-1 comparison is always the answer here. But what you need to observe here in this exact example is that really these two DFS platforms are pricing this prop completely different. Let's just put it this way. If you were to hit the over on Hot Streak right now at a plus 130 line on the over at 2.5, and you were to hit the under on Prizepicks at 2.5 at minus 119 odds in a 5 flex, that is almost, well, that is a mathematical arbitrage, a mathematical hedge in a sense, right? Like, it's just crazy because these types of opportunities do not exist in major markets. And when they do, they exist for literally minutes at a time, seconds at a time sometimes. Because you got all these sharp bettors observing markets just like here on the optimizer. But not too many people feel confident or really don't understand the concept of comparing markets here with esports, but it's all the same stuff, right? Like, a projection is a projection. It's the same payout regardless of the type of sport that you play, which is why there's such a good opportunity here with DFS apps, especially with newer markets like esports. So I just want to take it a step further here, right? And I'm not saying that we should trust Hot Streak here and that we should hit the under 100%. I'm saying that you should trust the middle of these two apps, right? Because you're using this logical assumption that both DFS apps make money off their sports bettors. If you don't use that assumption, then all this logic goes out the window. And again, we can assume that all these DFS apps are profitable or else they wouldn't be running off their sports bettors. So it's a great assumption to make, right? So we just simply do not know. We do not have enough market data to really say, hey, is Prizepicks more sharper than Hot Streak? Or is Underdog more sharp than Prizepicks and Hot Streak? We just simply don't have enough data. We have like very minimal data. And even then, like, it's with the small amount of data that we have, it's only a couple percentage points off between the two apps, at least again, and in the small sample size that we do have. So again, very strong assumption to make. So if you were to play this bet the correct way, right, you're taking the middle between these two apps. Hit the over on Hot Streak, hit the under on 2.5, let the market adjust. Let the market show you which projection is more accurate. What you should theoretically see is this Prizepicks line head down to 2, get bumped down to 2, and also this Hot Streak juice kind of back off of the minus 190, maybe go down to minus 160. But the market's going to shift towards the middle, and this is how you should see it organically work going forward. Again, we're still in a very new era of esports data, and we just simply don't know where these sharp projections are coming from. They're coming from many different places here. Prizepicks is setting their own projections. Hot Streak is clearly setting their own projections. Underdog, and they all have their individual bettors. They all have their individual sharps, right? Some sharp bettors prefer one book over the other, or one DFS app over the other. And all these lines are moving, which then will shape these lines going forward in the future. And that is just simply why you see all the top plus EV plays being from esports, because these markets are a lot sharper. The major league sports, they're more popular. There's more sports bettors. There's more sharps pouring in money on one side or the other. You just simply don't see that on esports, and why there's such a mathematical advantage. So if I were to play this on Prizepicks right now, I would be middling this opportunity here between the apps. I would be taking the over on Underdog of Joko, Militia, and White in a 3-man power, because they pay out 6 times. Just a side note, different from Prizepicks. Prizepicks' payout is not as good. But on Prizepicks, I would go ahead and put River into a slip. I would put Njoku or Joku, whatever his name is, under 2. I would do Militia under 2. I would do White under 2. And I would do Jensen under 3.5. Because according to the market, according to the most accurate projection in the middle of these apps, these 1-to-1 comparisons, and even with having Hot Streak and Underdog agreeing with this line, this closer line is obviously 0.5 higher than on Prizepicks. Because if you were to have these types of discrepancies in the major markets, they would bump, they would move immediately. And anyway, that is kind of my breakdown on esports. And I just want to reiterate that you guys should not be skeptical to bet on esports. This truly is a cheat code. Like, this can be a profitable long-term strategy for this specific sport. And these opportunities will not last forever because the esports market is brand new. It is not old. It does not have market data. And all these apps are developing out their projections. They're still pouring money into these things. And Hotstreak quite literally just added League of Legends projections last week. So you'll see more DFS apps adding. You'll see No House Advantage. They just added theirs as well. Fliff, Parlay Play, like all these guys are just coming out with new projections on their esports models. Jock Market doesn't have it, they'll add it. Anyway, my whole point is that once all these markets come out with more projections, you'll start to see more accurate projections. You'll see the market adjust a lot more frequently. But right now, that is simply not the case. Take advantage today.